Hey, it's Glad GHOUL Toys, and I wanted to say a little bit more about safety when you're doing your toy making, because it's awesome to make toys. Toys are great, but you have to be safe, and we're using a lot of specialized equipment and materials, right, with the sort of more advanced approach to things, and the resin as well. You know, these are chemicals, so you have to be safe. You have to be careful. I take that really seriously, and I want you to as well. You have to look out for yourself, okay? In the end, no one's going to keep you safe except you, but I can try to help, and I want to tell you a little bit more. So when it comes to toy making, PPE stands for personal protection equipment, and I'm going to come back to the pressure pot later because that's the main thing. But I also want to tell you about this. So these are my safety things. These are what I wear to be safe. Okay, these are vinyl gloves that keep all the stuff off your hands. Pretty straightforward. The other thing is safety goggles. These are good for impact, but they don't have to be. You're not going to have stuff flying at your face while you're doing this, but you do want to cover your eyes. I also wear glasses, prescription glasses, so that keeps me double safe, I guess. But I still like to be safe with resin. Let's say you're stirring it and you're listening to some awesome music and you're getting all into it and you're stirring up that resin. Hey, it can splash. You never know. And you want to keep your eyes safe, to be sure, right? This is the main thing that I wear, and this is a respirator. So the thing is, you want to look for one that is good for organic vapors, okay? So it's not just a dust mask, it's organic vapors. And these are cartridges that are replaceable. I even wrote on the bottom somewhere when I put these in. They're pretty new, so they should last me for a while, but it lets me track how long I've had them so that I know when to replace them. And it even states along the bottom, it tells you like what these are good for. So you can just make sure organic vapors. That's important. So I wear this whenever I'm dealing with the resin, especially when I'm mixing it, when I'm releasing the pressure from the pressure pot. I've got this on. So you want to be safe, okay? And you really got to keep your lungs safe. That's a super important thing. All right, so that's the basics of the PPE. The other thing, of course, is the pressure pot. So that's the big thing that we're using and that I've been talking about. And we got the compressor. The compressor connects by an air hose that goes to the pressure pot, and that's where the pressure goes in, and that helps to get the bubbles out of our resin, which is awesome. Yes, very good. But this thing can be a bit intimidating and can be something that you're a little unsure of or careful around. When you're starting to use it, for sure, go slowly and start to figure stuff out. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions. There's tons of videos out there. I've put them in descriptions before, but you have to be safe with it as well. It is pressure. You're not getting hot in there, really. It's not a pressure cooker, but it's a pressure pot that's increasing pressure. And if you don't play safe with this, then you know, you don't want bad things to happen as far as that pressure suddenly coming out. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to head on out to the garage, and that's where I do a lot of my toy making. So the garage is also good for ventilation. I can set up a fan. I can get some air flowing through there as well. So we're going to go out to the garage, and I'm going to show you specifically how I put resin through a cycle of curing. And so from the mold into the pot, how to keep the pot safe, and all that good stuff, okay? Okay, I'm in the garage. Here's the pressure pot. The lid's off the pressure pot. Nothing's turned on. I covered this a little bit earlier, but I'll point it out again. This is the compressor. The regulator on my compressor is here, and I have it wide open. I've done some tests already with it, and I need all the power the compressor can give me because it's just a little one. So the regulator is turned wide open to let all the pressure that this can create to come out. Here's the air pipe that comes up to the lid on the pressure pot, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is just go through the actual process I follow for putting resin into the pressure pot. So here's a mold. Pretend the mold has resin in it. It doesn't have anything, but this is what you would do. Nothing's turned on. Everything is just standing by like this. The mold goes carefully into the pressure pot like that, set down carefully on the bottom. And then I'm just going to hand this over to some excellent help here because I need both my hands free. The lid goes on the pressure pot. Again, I can't say this enough times. There's so many videos that will take you through the specific ways to do things safely with a pressure pot. What I'm doing is I'm putting all of these latches onto the pressure pot, and I'm not tightening things up fully just yet. I'm sort of tightening them just enough to get them to stay on. Okay, making sure that the airlock valve is tightened and closed because I want to start to put pressure in here. The valve, the red valve that's on the pressure pot, I have it open so that I'm going to allow that compressed air to come in. And I'm going to show you on here, we want to tighten things diagonally like this. So I'm tightening the wing nuts on the pressure pot diagonally, and that helps to maintain the pressure evenly on the lid. So I'm not inventing this stuff. These are all sort of common instructions for how to use a pressure pot safely. And again, you'll see these all over the place. So I'm just tightening things up in the corners like that. All right, take my phone back here from my awesome help, and I'm going to carry on here and just take you through this a bit further. See this regulator on the pressure pot? This I took time with to dial in and to make sure that it's at a good pressure. By that I mean on the pressure gauge, I've got the regulator set so that when it gets up to 50, there's your PSIs, 40, 60, in the middle is 50. When it gets up to 50, I have everything set so that the pressure pot will turn off, and that's because of the regulator. And I fine-tuned the regulator's settings so that it shuts off at this point, and I've locked it. You can push the regulator's knob in, and that locks things, and then it's locked at that spot. And I'm going to demonstrate that actually in just a second. Okay, so I'm following all the safety things. I got that lids on safely. I've tightened it up really well. I'm following all the instructions. I'm not going anywhere near the maximum pressure for this pot, and I have things dialed in so it's going to stop automatically at 50 psi. All right, and I'll say more about that when that time comes. If that was resin inside there now, I need to remember that there's a pot life and a time when I've got to get the bubbles out. So if I don't have any resin in there now, so I can talk. But if I did, I would have to move as quickly as the resin needs. So if it's a slow resin, then I've got more time. If it's a quick setting resin, I've got to move pretty quickly. So anyway, here we are. I'm double checking things again. My regulator is locked. I know that's good. I've got my red valve is open, allowing the air that's going to come in from the compressor. My lid is on good and tight. This is locked off. This is a safety valve that will pop out if I ever got too high a pressure, which I'm not going to because I have the regulator that's set. All right, what I'm going to do is turn on the compressor. That's going to start to compress the air inside the pot. We'll see that pressure start to come up. And then for my pot, it takes about 5 minutes in order to fill up because I have a fairly small compressor, so it takes a little bit of time. So I'm going to let the pressure start to build, and then I'm going to come back when I'm almost at that that amount of pressure that everything is going to shut itself off at, which is at just a little bit past 50 psi. All right, so here we go. I'm going to turn on the compressor. That's compressing the air. You see the pressure starting to build inside the compressor. As that pressure starts to come up, you'll see it on the pressure pot as well. And there's the pressure coming up on the pot. Okay, we're back, and look at where we are for our PSI. Coming up, it's at 50, and like I said, mine's set to switch off just past 50. So because that regulator is set, it should switch off right at that point. There we go. Now I turn the valve to keep the air in there, and I'll turn my compressor off. And I'll just say that that regulator is a super effective way to stay safe, and I got to thank Lab Monkey number 9. He's an awesome toy maker. You've probably heard me talk about him before, and I'll put links to his stuff all around. He's very experienced, a really professional toy maker that's been working with pressure pots for ages. And this was a great thing he reminded me of. He said, make sure you dial this in, because otherwise the pressure pot could keep going up and up and up. Say you walk away, or you get chased by a bear, or who knows what, you just forget about it, because it can happen, and the pressure just keeps going up. Right? If that regulator is set a certain way, it's just going to allow the pressure to go up. So now with it dialed in, it will stop at that point. And that's a great safety thing. And it's great for your project too, obviously. So there you go. The pressure pot's doing its thing. I would have left it for the required amount of time. And now I'm going to start to open the safety valve here, okay? That is where I'm going to start to let the air out. I've got my respirator on the whole time if I'm doing this. And certainly when I open that up, because now the air is going to come out of the pressure pot. And I don't want to be around the fumes. I don't want to be around anything like that if I can help it. So I release that valve, and then I step out because I'm in the garage, or I get away from this, and I've got my safety equipment on as well, just so that I'm not breathing in anything that's toxic. All right, so I'm going to start to do that. Here we go. Release that valve a little bit. Just twist it, turn it. Let me come around to this side. Just turn it, and I'm going to let it do its thing. I'll come back when it's done. All right, the pressure's all come out of the pot through the valve there, and I'm just going to show you here on the meter, right? We're right back down. So I'm going to leave this open just to make sure I'm safe when I open up the lid of the pressure pot. And I'm going to open that in the same way as I did when I put everything on. I'm going to take the, undo the screws and carefully take the lid off and pull out my resin that's inside and go on from there. I'm not going to demonstrate that though, because I showed you how to put this on safely. So, but there you go. That's right from beginning to end of a whole cycle of using a pressure pot, okay? Hey, since we're out here, I may as well also say the vacuum over here, you'll notice in the other videos I've done, I haven't talked a whole lot about safety with the vacuum. It's pretty safe. You're gonna pull air out of the pot, and that's fairly safe. Put your lid on securely. Make sure you got a good seal on the lid. Follow all the safety things that you'll see about the vacuum pot. Make sure the lid's on safely and the gasket's on safely. And when you start to run this, sometimes these will, oil inside of the motor will start to create a bit of a smoke. I know that sounds scary. Again, this is why you use ventilation for this sort of more advanced toy making, but it should be pretty safe. That's a common thing. I've talked with quite a few toy makers that use vacuum pots, and it's a pretty common thing. But otherwise, it's a pretty safe system. Since I'm out here, I'll also tell you a little bit about my station over here where I pour my resin. These are condiment or ketchup, mustard, and salad dressing things. You can get these pretty cheap. This is not salad dressing, although it looks like it could be. This is resin. There's my part A and my part B, right? So this is a good way to keep, if you're pouring it from a bigger container into these, and then they're really accurate spouts, so you can pour them into your little cups. So this is where I pour my resin, and I guess it is a bit of a safety thing. I'm trying to keep my area as neat as I can, but as you can see, stuff spills. So I've got lots of paper down, little bits of cardboard and wood, and then I can dispose of these if my stuff starts to spill or if it gets messy. And same thing over here. So I got more, there's where my molds are and where I do more of my pouring, and then I'm able just to take stuff over into the pressure pot. Rubber bands to put around the molds, and an assortment of different tools as well over here. So I'm always trying to be safe, and I'm trying to be as clean as I can when I'm working. And there you go, something to think about. All right, hope that helps. And there you go, here's some rubber bands.